some thoughts on stops with exchanges, and maybe it. I'm not going to say offensive, but it's going to be something that a lot of traders think about, and that's who has visibility at the exchange about the order book and people's stops, which are not on the order book. And one reason I bring it up is because Gunbot, given that it's off net, so to speak, it's sitting in a VPS or sitting in our house, regularly hitting the exchange every 20 seconds, saying, okay, what's it at now? And then the trigger, the response, is sitting at my desk, not sitting as a stop order on the order book. And so, crypto is not your keys, not your coins. Don't trust anybody. We're supposed to be autonomous, those kinds of things. And one of the things Gunbot spoke to me about was I get to control my stop, not an order on the book. What would Kraken Futures say about, visibility into the order book to stop manipulation and whales? And, how do you address those kinds of things?
Yeah, so the operations team internally here obviously has visibility if they need it for any number of reasons, but we don't have any internal trading desk. So there's no internal market maker, there's no internal trading desk that would have any access to that information whatsoever. So you can trade here knowing that nobody has better quality information than you do.
That's really helpful, because I know it's a concern. It's a concern for people who have spent time trading and then all of a sudden get liquidated on an exchange where all of a sudden, where did that come from? How do they know my stop? The stop hunting, there's a phrase, right? Whales go shark hunting and sharks go stop hunting. So it's definitely a concern.
Yeah, we don't take part in any of that. We always try to do the right thing by our clients. So that goes a little bit to how we handle the liquidation. So most of the other firms will liquidate the position, and if they can close the position out in the order book, they will take the proceeds of that trade. So basically what happens is you hit your maintenance margin, which could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6%, depending on how large your position is. And when you hit that limit, the exchange will try to close your position out. And they'll try to do it in their own order book. We do that as well. The difference is if you get liquidated on most other exchanges, they'll take the proceeds of that trade, because the majority of liquidations do get cleared in the order book. And they'll put that into what's called an insurance fund. And you see them quite publicly talk about that. It is a little bit of a misalignment of incentives for two reasons. One is that insurance fund is actually just an asset of the exchange. It doesn't belong to the traders in any way. It sits on the exchange's balance sheet, and they can, in theory, do whatever they want with it. And the second one is that the people who pay into the insurance fund aren't necessarily the people who benefit from it. So the people that benefit from having the insurance fund are actually the people that tend to be profitable on the exchange, because in the event of too many liquidations going through, an exchange would have to go to what's called auto deleveraging, where they start taking away the profitable positions to balance the book back out. So we looked at that and we said that's probably not the fairest way to handle it for our traders. So in keeping with our desire to do the right thing by our clients, when we liquidate a position, we first try to close out the position in our order book. So we'll put in an immediate or cancel at the zero equity value. And then if there are proceeds of that trade, and the vast majority of liquidations on our platform, there are some proceeds of the trade, that proceeds gets handed back to the trader. So most people that get liquidated on the platform in normal circumstances will actually receive some of their maintenance margin back. It's only when there's very, very sharp moves like last night that the order book can't take it. Then it gets handed off to what's called a liquidation assignment program, or a position assignment system, I think is the technical term. And that's where we hand the position and the associated maintenance margin to a number of market makers. So anyone everything we do is always available to everybody. So anybody, anywhere on our platform can participate in it. It's in your settings. You can sign up for this program, and you can also receive these assigned positions. When I joined, I couldn't figure out why you'd want to receive that, because it's obviously a bad trade if it's getting liquidated. But the way it works is you receive the position. So let's say a $1 million long position in Bitcoin, and you also receive the maintenance margin that goes along with that. So you get handed the position with $20,000, in that case, 2% maintenance margin. And if you're able to hedge that position somewhere else, or if you're able to work that position out in a more sort of orderly fashion in our order book, you keep the proceeds of that trade. So for example, if we look at Bitcoin liquidations on Kraken futures since about March last year, for the past year or so, the vast majority of them, the maintenance margin, some of it was returned to the original trader. When the position was handed off, it was handed off on average at a 1.91% better than market price. So if you're able to hedge that position quickly, you're able to lock in on average a 1.9% gain each time. So the trading firms and the traders that participate in this tend to be people that are trading algorithmically, because you'll just get assigned the position. You don't know when it's coming. They tend to be people connected to multiple exchanges, but they tend to be very, very happy with the program because it can be very, very profitable once it's up and running for you. Sorry, it's a very long answer to why do we do the right things by our clients. But
no, I think what you just went over is gold to most people who actually care about futures trading. But one thing I want to mention, you said, like we had last night. For those watching this, we're recording this on Friday, March 13th, 2020. And Bitcoin has had a more than 50% correction from a month ago. And we're trading in the 5,000s. We dipped into the 4,000s overnight. And when we say overnight, you know, we're all over the world. Some of us are in US, some of us are in Europe, some of us are Australia, and you know, all over the world. Gunbot users are truly a global community. So we have all bled together and we've all rejoiced together. So
it literally has dropped a few thousand in a 24-hour period, didn't it?
Yes, it did. And so, you know, people, you know, good or bad, that brings visibility to trading. That brings visibility to manipulation. That brings, I mean, sometimes, you know, the crypto Twitter can go crazy with, oh, well, why did exchange X have maintenance right when all this stuff was happening? And you know, was it really maintenance or was it not? So there's no shortage of drama in this industry, especially with the order books as thin as they are.